I would say that I'm a survivor, not just an HIV survivor, but a survivor in many different aspects of the word. Um, I've survived drug addiction. I've just survived religious upbringing that kind of limited me as a person. And I've survived a really terrible disease, HIV, for more than 26 years. I'd become addicted to cocaine and heroin. And so I was in a long-term treatment facility. So luckily, one of the guidelines of that facility is they took everyone in to get STD tests and the beginning of the HIV test as they knew it in that year. And so I was pretty much forced to have an HIV test. Then I left treatment. It didn't get my results. Back then, they mailed the results to you. This was 1985. And by the time my results had been mailed to my parents' house, which was the address I gave, I was already living in Key West. So it's unfortunate, but my mother opened the notice because she was receiving my mail and called me to let her youngest son know that he was HIV positive. So what came of that was shame and guilt. Mostly that, even before the fear set in. It was, because my mother had to be the one to call me and tell me that I was positive. I mean, it must have been a tragic moment in her life. So in the beginning, I guess, honestly, it was a reckless abandon to numb myself from all the aspects and the feelings that were associated with HIV. So, drank like a fish, acted like I was only going to be here until I was 35, made, some stupid choices because of that. So it was kind of a reckless abandon in the beginning. I got pneumocystis pneumonia and decided to start treatment. And once I made the decision to start treatment, that came with the decision to have a will to live. So once I gained that will to live, there were still low times in my life, but that will to live is still with me today and has stayed with me constant since the time that I was diagnosed and I lost my lover and I started treatment in 1992. That's really when it just kicked in and I said, okay, so this is here. It's not going anywhere, and I'm going to do something. I guess the hardest was the beginning because the very first day it opened a floodgate of emotions that I hadn't really thought about in a long time. My partner and I have really great dialogue and open communication, but when you're sitting and writing alone, stuff comes up. And what came up for me in writing in the very first day was the same thing that, still comes up from time to time on a daily basis, is why me? Not why me do I have the disease? Why was I the one spared? I've seen so many people, wonderful, gifted individuals that had so much to offer, to the world in general. And their light went out so quickly. Sorry. So I guess that was the hardest, was just to get the initial day started of writing. Because, I have lost so many people that, here I am, able to write into this wonderful journal and feel these emotions and work through them, and so many aren't.